So your first trip to the mainland was an interesting experience, to say.
It was. It was very interesting.
Now, do you guys, uncles or grandma, remember you guys' first time that you came to the mainland? Were you young? Had you grown up a little bit?
I was old already when I came.
Little older,
Yeah.
about around the same age right now, right? 20.
Yeah, about 10 years, 20 years ago.
Yeah. That was your first time to the mainland.
Mhm.
What was that like? Where did you go?
Oh, I went to California, and then from there I Washington State, Oregon, just traveled.
Just did it to travel?
Yeah.
And grandma, when was your first time to the mainland?
Oh, I came when I was about 25. Because my brother Joseph riding race horses in the racetrack, and so we travel all over.
How was that for you?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. You'd never been to the mainland before?
No.
You read stories or see it in books and on TV and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Uncle, what was the first time?
First time I came.
Well, how old? Today?
Yeah.
Today was the first time?
No. 2018. 2018 I came.
First time ever?
First time I came, yeah.
Wow, so you lived in Hawaii
Yeah,
the whole time, never came up here before?
First time I came.
Yeah. Wow.
First time I come here.
And then you stayed?
Yeah, I stayed.
This kid gets up there, you go back
you
already.
never-
If I go back, I'll get the boat.
Now, and I know most of you, in fact, you guys remember World War II and how Hawaii played a role in that. And you want to share your experience? I know, Grandma, you've talked to me many a times.
World War II when Honolulu was an army camp.
And you remember the bombing of Pearl Harbor?
Lying below boathouses in the army camp. They had them all over.
And that was before, or that was after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that day, like what you were doing that day, where you were when that happened?
Birthday party. At a birthday party.
You were at a birthday party. Do you remember the time that they attacked?
Yeah, I saw all that.
Yeah.
It was 7 o'clock in the morning, Sunday morning.
What were you doing, Auntie?
Frankly, I was working for the military then, and we didn't. For the first time, we didn't have the radio on, and then all of a sudden we heard that the bombs, Japan had bombed the Pearl Harbor. Then of course I got called to go back to work. So, but then it was very dangerous, you know. We didn't know if you got on the road, you know, whether you'd get to your destination. But anyway, I got to the base and stayed there. But what was so sad is to see these trucks bringing in these bodies from Pearl Harbor to the various funeral parlors. You know, it was so heartbreaking to see that so many of our people were killed because of that, of the bombing by Japan.
No, Laie was.
Unexpected, very unexpected.
I know Laie was turned into. Wasn't that turned into like the radio centrals where the radio command was kept for the military? They had boarded up some of the areas, and you couldn't have lights on at a certain time at night, and you couldn't be outside.
We went to blackout.
Everything went black out.
Completely blackout.
How long did that last for?
Oh, long time.
For a long time.
6 years there, 41 to 46. The war was still
So
going.
every night, sunset, you got to
Everything
turn your lights and
black out.
everything off, and you got to operate in the house that way.
Yeah, you had to black out the windows.
Yeah, you gotta black out the windows.
And then, what was it like going back? Like, did you guys, after the bombing, how long do you think, or did life ever return to normal, per se normal, the way it was before? Or did everything pretty much change after
For
that?
me, I was small, I only knew very little about that, but took quite a bit to really notice if everything was really normal.
Yeah.
There wasn't, you know, we wasn't free to just do anything, you know.
Yeah.
Like for us, like grandpa there, when you gotta go out on a boat, we gotta put a American flag on our boat so we can go and come back. You know, we'll have
You lose that flag, you don't come back, huh?
come back. They tell you, man.
I wonder how many people didn't come back. Now, and I know that around that time after the bombing, the United States created internment camps for a lot of the Japanese American, the Nihi. Now, did you have any friends or anything that were Japanese or any family that had to be taken to the internment camps?
To the mainland, yes, we did. We had lots of families on the island that were taken to the mainland.
What happened to their homes? What happened to their houses or their jobs? Or they're just abandoned?
Gee, I can't remember.
You know, mostly it was only plantation workers, just about it, and the sugar. And I guess they just, if they had a chance to come back, they come back, but the rest is replaced from different people coming in.
Now, you guys remember anything else in Hawaii that to you happened that was significant, like historic, you know, any type of historic event or moment or anything in your mind that for you means a lot to you today or really shaped how you were or how you are today that happened?
I remember the Filipinos that they chopped the Japanese head off with a cane knife. You remember that?
I never get to say that.
Yeah.
Why did they do that?
Oh, they mad it?
Because of the bombing?
Yeah.
And was that just one incident or did they go after the Japanese because of it?
They went after them. That happened. I remember that.
Now, did you say, Grandma, I thought one time you said that you guys had to carry gas masks or
We wear gas masks
Yeah,
to school.
get mass I've had to.
what happened if you forgot your gas mask?
Oh, you did throw gas, you ought to lock it.
Everybody had gas masks, you know, every family, you know, everybody had gas masks, but if they would throw gas, we don't put them on at the right time. Well, we're gone already, we wouldn't be here talking story.
Now, did any of you serve in the military? I know, Auntie, you said you worked in the military.
Yes.
Did any of uncles, any of you guys, or any of your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, after World War II, did they sign up where they drafted? I know that Tutu Pahumoa, all of his boys had the World War I draft cards, but I know after that, of course, you know they were older, so they weren't drafted. But
No.
was anyone drafted or?
No.
Boys of age. All, and I know all of my cousins all went to war. My brothers all went to war.
My brothers did too.
Now I know that at that time of World War II, a lot of the men were gone, so the women took over doing a lot of the stuff you do. To remember, Auntie, Grandma, remember